All right, welcome back to SF Vortex. We're headed down to the war room, folks, to discuss none other than Count Dracula, who made his debut 100 years ago in Bram Stoker's classic novel. In the years since, vampires have certainly become a fascinating part of our media and our culture, for better or for worse. Despite the fact that hundreds of distinct vampire legends have existed in almost every culture in the world for thousands of years, all of our current impressions about vampires come from a single book, Dracula by Bram Stoker.
I am Dracula.
More than 500 movies and television productions, as well as countless books and graphic illustrations, owe their inspiration to Stoker's 100-year-old work. Published in 1897, Bram Stoker's Dracula has not been out of print since then and has been translated into more than 50 languages. Original manuscripts show that Stoker had intended to name his novel The Undead, but changed his mind when he read historical accounts of a bloodthirsty prince from Transylvania. The 15th century warlord was also known as Vlad the Impaler for his infamous habit of impaling his enemies on wooden poles and leaving them to die slowly. Bram Stoker died in 1912, not knowing that Dracula, one of 17 books he wrote, would help keep vampire legends alive and give Stoker himself literary immortality. Scary stuff, huh, folks? Okay, we are in the war room with three of the world's foremost Dracula experts. A newcomer to the war room, Norine Dresser, is here, a folklorist and author of American Vampires, Fans, Victims, Practitioners. Also joining us, S.P. Somtow, a noted author and screenwriter in the vampire genre. And Dr. J. Gordon Melton is here, author of the vampire book, The Encyclopedia of the Undead. He's also the chairman and co-founder of the upcoming International Dracula 97 convention in Los Angeles. Keep watching, folks, so you'll be prepared. All right, guys, welcome. Nice to have you all here.
Thank you very much.
Let me get to my first question. Lots of Draculas over the years, the last 100 years. But I want to know right now your all-time favorite Dracula. S.P. Somtow, start us off.
Well, when I was 8 years old, my mother took me to see Horror of Dracula.
Which wasn't that long ago.
Well, nah, the other day.
Yeah, go ahead.
The other day, Christopher Lee, she covered her eyes for the entire movie, forcing me, a little 8-year-old, to watch the movie. And therefore, it made an impression upon my brain which has never gone away. So I would have to say Christopher Lee because of my childhood.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty deep, SP. Okay, Mr. Melton, go ahead.
Well, it's hard to fault Langella's Dracula. It was great, but one must
Why
have...
are you going to fault?
It would be hard to... I would not want to.
Oh, okay.
But I would want to mention Louis Jourdan, his BBC production of Dracula,
Sure.
which didn't show in movies, but showed on television, was an excellent, excellent film and one of the truest to the novel.
A great adaptation of the novel, yeah.
Okay, now, Norine, before I get to you, okay, when it comes to my opinion, if you care, when it comes to Dracula, I got two words for you. Bela Lugosi. The conversation stops right there. He was Dracula. Norine, of course, you agree with me, right?
No.
Okay, we'll be back after this. No, go ahead. Who's your favorite?
Well, that's why I was getting all excited when Gordon started mentioning Frank Langella. He was one of my favorites because he's very sensual, and I can't really say the same about Bela Lugosi. And I had seen Bela Lugosi's portrayal quite a few times,
Right.
but when I saw Frank Langella do it, something else happened. I had a more emotional response to it.
So you're saying he's the sexiest?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Well, he's also the most sensual. I mean, the scene where the wolf changes into the man and the hand and the operation of his hand all through the movie.
Right.
What do you think of Gary Oldman, his Dracula? How about that scene with the knife? What do you think of that, Gordon?
I liked Oldman. I had no room to fault him,
Right, okay.
but I don't think he carried the sensual quality
No.
that Langella and Jourdan did.
All right.
Langella did something with his eyes.
What do they do with his eyes? Well, hold that thought. We'll come back in just a minute. I got to go to a break. When we come back, more Dracula talk as SF Vortex continues. Don't go anywhere, folks. We're right back. right, welcome back to SF Vortex. We're still in the war room with Norine Dresser, SP, Somtow, and the pride of Alabama, J. Gordon Melton. All right. Now, you know what? You were going to do this whole Frank Langella thing with his eyes. What is it that Frank Langella did?
I wasn't going to do it.
Give us a...
Well, he sort of dilates them and liquefies them and sort of...
Oh, that's good.
We getting a close-up of that? Look at that. You can't teach what SP Somtow does. That's terrific. Terrific stuff.
Oh, you're an actor. You do it.
No. Okay, let me move on with my show here if you guys don't mind. Okay, we're talking about Dracula. We're talking about 100 years. And what I want to know is, what is it about this guy that is this the society has this fascination with Dracula for 100 years? Why has he been able to sustain this for so long?
One of the reasons is that there's something for everyone. And as a result of my book, I've gotten a lot of letters from prisoners, and I think that's kind of an interesting idea, because you can interpret it in a couple of ways. One, that they feel trapped, imprisoned in this state of limbo where they're neither dead nor alive.
Right.
Or it may be that they're just anxious to have the power that this creature also has. So, and I hear from teenagers too, with a budding sexuality, and they're really drawn to this figure that, you know, everybody goes for him.
So there's a little sexuality.
Oh,
yeah,
Sex is really important.
Very important.
Yeah, I mean, what character lives forever, has sexual power, can have any woman he wants with just the glance of those eyes?
Frank Sinatra. Well, I was playing.
But the thing is that almost all art is about sex and death in some way or another. But Dracula is one of the only characters where the sex and death are combined into a sort of single entity.
Completely embodied.
Yeah, just all in one.
So
One-stop shopping.
I agree.
So you're telling me that Frank Langella, sexy?
Oh,
Sexy?
very. Not in his incarnation today.
Who was the sexiest Dracula?
Langella.
Langella in the
Somtow, what do you
1979.
think?
I think Langella was sexier, but I'm not really a good judge of
He
that.
wasn't as sexy as Bela Lugosi. Lugosi was Dracula.
Well,
I'm pushing for this Bela Lugosi thing. aren't I?
Well,
Well, we
obviously.
all love Lugosi
but
as
you
well.
know, the reason why you are, because he became the model for it, and anything else is measured up to
Right.
him.
Right,
It doesn't
right.
matter who it would be. It could be
I mean,
four
and
times
there's
better.
no doubt that Lugosi was getting letters from women for
Oh,
years.
yeah. Right.
Yeah,
And
they
the
certainly thought he was
studio
sexy.
never caught on to the fact that he was a star with that kind of appeal, and that was the appeal of Dracula, was as a sensual creature.
How about the fact that, let's face it, Dracula, you know, let's look at the bullet points here. He lures women into his house. He sucks the blood out of them. This is a violent guy. What do we say in the society? What kind of sign is this for the society? Is it bad?
Well, I mean, 3 women live with him. It sounds good to me.
Sounds like my kind of place to hang out. What do you think, Norine?
I don't know how to answer that right off.
Okay.
Because there's too much involved. He's dangerous, and I think there's always that part of us that likes the danger, but we're afraid of the danger. And so he represents so much. He's such a complex character, and I don't think everybody just thinks of him as in his home. I think they think of him coming to your home and coming to get you while you're somewhere else.
Oh, I can sleep good tonight. Thank you, Norine.
The badness is fine as long as
Yeah.
it's vicarious. I mean,
Yeah,
we're not going to
right.
all go out and do it.
Right. Yeah, Dracula is not the kind of character that you want as a role model. He's, and people who like Dracula do not like him because he is a role model. They like him because he embodies certain traits that we might like to see strengthened in our lives, or he embodies certain hopes that we would like to be able to realize.
Or he embodies that which we don't want to be like.
Yeah, or that which
so
we
he
fear.
becomes a negative
Yeah.
role model, and those are important too.
Well, we do all want to live forever, but at the
I
cost
don't.
of being dead, I don't know.
What about some of the changes, real quick before we get out of here, what about some of the changes to Dracula over the years? You happy with them?
I think they've helped bring out the fullness of the character. Remember that Dracula is the single literary work that's been produced and brought to the screen the most. 18 times that
Right.
movie has been, the book has been turned into a movie.
And Kevin Bacon was in every one of them. I'm just joking.
And 18 more times before. Yes.
Okay, you know what? What do you mean we're out of time? They're waving me off. We got to get out of here. But real quick, do that Dracula imitation you were doing, just for the folks at home.
Dracula.
Oh, that was terrific. You know what? I'm taking notes. Do it one more time.
Dracula.
Oh, unbelievable. How do you follow that? You know what? You don't. I got to get out of here, folks. I want to thank my guest, Norine Dresser, SP Somtow, that was terrific, by the way, and Dr. J. Gordon Melton for joining us. Don't go anywhere, because when I come back, I'll be upstairs in my world-famous space studio with news, letters, and more when SF Vortex, we're gonna time.